be able to make it to the major and be able to test themselves even more. Warlock going to be the first thing that we see here in Ahaz.
No surprise, they're going to take it away from Sirius. They've also banned out Leshrac, which has been the other sort of first phase staple when you talk about the Chinese teams. The Darkseer off the board, that's something that Complexity has leaned on in the first phase. The Sven, though, is still there, and that's something that I think if Sirius leaves that on the table, Complexity is going to think hard about. Sand King, the most picked hero of the tournament overall, and Sirius will take the Sven.
Oh, I thought they were going to take Lesh.
Yeah, Leshrac was banned out.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Complexity first bandit.
Oh, I can't see. It's
Yeah,
just like
it-
grayscale.
yeah.
It's actually really tricky. Yeah, the way that the lights are set up, it makes it so you can't see all the bands coming in.
Beautiful. And this has been, okay, so this is the other hero that you talk about behind the Sven that's really almost, I think, hopped over Sven in terms of valuation in this tournament. The Wraith King, tied for second most picked, been very successful. It's a hero that a lot of people are just using these skeletons as just free map pressure. And it's a hero that scales very nicely with farm. It can still frontline in team fights even without a lot of farm, but the damage scaling is not bad if it has items as well.
I do want to ask as well, since we're seeing another first phase Chen ban. I want to ask Blitz his opinion on Chen, because we haven't really had you on the desk that much, Blitz. I think we've had you on for like one short segment. We've heard all the analysts go back and forth. I'm kind of curious what your opinion is right now on Chen.
I kind of still like Chen. I think that the hero, I know Synderen hates it, and the one game we did see it, it was just in a really bad situation where the lane phase just couldn't really succeed. But I think that the hero still provides a lot of value. He still does the same things, like his heal, his ulti's still very good. He still pushes towers down very well. I mean, he went from being like the most broken hero in Dota to now being like pretty good. And I think the main reason it's being banned though is because teams haven't like quite figured out how they're going to deal with it yet. And why bother, right?
Yeah.
You're in a situation where this tournament is so do or die. You don't get to say like, oh, we'll make this up later. So just, take it out of the way. I do like the Wraith King pick. We saw it yesterday a lot. There are very few heroes that I think deal with Sven. EG had the idea. I think that Lifestealer was a hero that countered it. That's what they did at ESL Birmingham when they picked Lifestealer and a Sven twice against LGD. But Wraith King actually makes a lot of sense too, because Sven is such a burst-heavy hero. He goes in, he throws his entire toolkit at you. Wraith King doesn't care about that because he just revives and he'll kite you with a stun. His level 25 is quite good against you too. He's a natural Radiance builder, which is always good against Sven.
I also like the fact that it's not necessarily just about the hero versus hero matchup per se. I also like that in a lot of games, Wraith King can fight without a BKB, whereas there are situations where Sven just can't. Because a lot of by the time Wraith King eats that first death, a lot of the spells that you would want a BKB against are going to be on cooldown. Now, you're obviously going to buy it eventually on this hero, but Sven has to play around that early 20s, hopefully BKB timing, where Wraith King not nearly as important.
Okay, very important to keep in mind. What boxes are we looking to check coming up next year for Complexity, Nahaz?
I think you want to lock down your three. Complexity, Tavo is the new addition to the roster here. I think that I like the potential of that ad because he is a vocal player, and that's one thing that I feel Complexity has been lacking. Adam, I think, is a very solid captain, especially when supported by a coach like Kips, but Complexity really lacking that vocal in-game leader, and Tavo is a player that plays with a hell of a lot of passion. He's a guy that is gonna take over these games when he's having a good game from the offlane role.
When looking at Sirius too, knowing that they're not going to be able to take Lesh, something that they've taken so much, is push going to be missing from their lineup if they're not able to pick something up here?
So there's always two ways to deal with it. You can go for the secret style of just like, if you kill your opponents enough times, then it doesn't really matter because there's no one there to defend towers.
Okay.
And Sven's like okay at pushing towers, like he's got God's Ring. So they're not in like the worst position here. I will say Complexity's push like baseline looks better off the two picks, but it's hard to read too much into it because we're really only 2 picks in right now.
Do you think Grimstroke is still on the table for both these teams?
Grimstroke I think looks pretty good for Sirius.
Yeah.
They ban out the Pango, which I thought that Complexity would pick if they didn't.
Exactly.
It's like a pretty nice Pango game, but the disarm's great against Sven. Obviously the ulti too. I think Grim's pretty good for Sirius. You probably want another hero that can get in, like that can jump backline as well onto Warlock. I could very easily see a situation where Sirius ends up taking like some Storm at some point.
Yeah.
So they do take the Grimstroke. I mean, Grimstroke Sven, Grimstroke Sand King. It's really nice.
So you go over to complexity, and I think this is going to be a 3 or a 4. You really need that impact here. There's your Z-Freak Rubik. Again, if complexity is going to win this tournament, if they're going to win games, and that's one of the complaints that I've had about this complexity squad is they don't have that consistent team identity. Who are you going to play around? Who are you going to enable? How are you going to win? I want to see them play more around the 3 and the 4 position. I think Z-Freak is their best player, and I think Tavo is their most explosive player. I like Miracle a lot in terms of his talent, and Limp's obviously a great laner, but I want to see them place emphasis getting Zach some farm on this Rubik. We've talked about support farm in this patch, and I want to see that next pick be a high impact 3 position.
Do you feel the same way, Blitz, that they need to enable that farm for Zach?
Yeah, but he'll get his, like, naturally. I mean, he has a lot to steal this game that can wave clear, so his game will be okay. Like, it'll be all right. For Sirius, I think you have pretty good catch, you have pretty good team fight. I think you also need a way, you probably want like one more additional way to wave clear, and you probably want another follow-up, like long distance reach.
You had a lot of, that's one of the things I actually really like about the first 3 picks by Sirius. You have a lot of wave clear in this draft already.
So you're going to go like, what, Sand King? You could even do something like Sand King safe and then aggro with the Grim Sven +1.
Oh, I'm down. So are you thinking about something like an AA?
Shaman sounds okay.
Okay.
Oh, it's going to be Lina.
And you know, I really, really like that pick there because it retains some flex value. Because that could easily be a Lina to lane with the Sven, that could easily be a Lina mid.
Yeah.
And, of course, it gives you the spell combo with the Grimstrike.
I'm always down for lineups that just have a lot of stun. Like that, it's the easiest way to win Dota. If it makes the game like very uncomplicated.
Yeah.
You're confused, just run at people and stun them. They can't play Dota.
And it feels like it's just very hard to be out-drafted. If you just draft a lot of stun, it feels like it's very hard to be, unless you just completely screw up the core matchups of the lanes, it feels like it's very hard to be out-drafted if you just pick a lot of disable.
Okay. Definitely something that we want to keep in mind as we keep moving forward in this elimination series. It's going to be game 1, Sirius versus Complexity.
So a lot of the big offlaners that we like for Tavo already off the table in the Pango, the Darkseer, and of course they banned the Nature's Prophet and the Batrider themselves. What are we going to see?
I mean, option-wise, it's not great right now.
Yeah,
that would have been sick, but now it's gone. I guess you could take LC, but like dueling the Sven never feels really good.
No, okay, Puck's fine. Puck's fine. Again, a little bit of flex value because that hero can. Limp is very, very confident in that hero as a mid if you want. And you know that Sirius is going to have the last overall pick, so it's important. It feels nice if you have a 5-hero lineup where you can even switch the lanes at the last minute.
All right, so Puck going to be brought out. Blitz, how do you feel about the Puck here?
I think it has pretty good value. There's a lot of projectiles on the side of Sirius, so it's very easy for him to stun dodge. We saw it in the last game when NIP played it. Like, Fada had a relatively free game until Hexes came online.
Yeah, and even after that, right? You talk about Puck against these BKB carriers, like the Sven, like the PA. He gets Ags, and then even potentially a Refresher, and he can just take that hero out of a fight later in the game.
Okay.
So they ban out the Ember, so they think that it is the offlane Puck, which I think is a good assumption as well.
I think so too. I think Complexity is gonna pick something 5th that leaves it at least a little bit open.
Anything about either of these lineups, Nahaz, where you're just like, this is absolutely missing. We need to be finding this in the final pick.
I like that Death Prophet ban a lot. No, I mean, maybe.
I think Complexity needs damage right now.
I feel like TA is like. Oh no, TA is already banned. Okay.
They need it.
So what else do you pick for Limp?
They need some kind of burst. Like pretty hard, which is why they banned out Ember.
Yeah.
Cole's lineup lacks burst a little bit.
10 seconds remaining.
With E?
I think if it's Lina mid, OD kind of gets ran out.
Struggle. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, I could see them pick some like Deucer or something.
Oof.
And just like
Deucer
sit
feels
back and farm.
A little too slow.
Oh, so they take
Okay,
Doom.
so it is going to be Puck mid.
They
Yeah,
swerved.
that's sort of what I thought. And again, that's based on the player. I know Limp really likes to play Puck in these kinds of situations, and he can get a lot of farm on that hero, come out with something like an early Dagon, and make up for that damage gap a little bit. I still do worry about Complexity's mid-game damage, though, with this
10
draft.
seconds remaining.
All right, Sirius right now. You said that Complexity was missing a little bit of that burst. Is Sirius missing anything here?
I'd like some A or Lion. That'd be kind of cool. But they take
Oh
Brood.
my.
Cool.
If ASD can play Brood, this is
So
really hard for
that's why they
Complexity.
take the Lina there in the 4th pick, so that they can leave things completely open.
If ASD can play Brood, can Cull win this? Like, this is a. Ooh.
I mean, it's a pretty nice Brood game.
All right, so we got Brood now.
I
Nahaz just dramatically shifted and asked if it's even possible for Cole to win this one. Do you think it's that dramatic here? That this is a draft that give it a percentage right now. Stats
I'm gonna
guy.
be nice and say 85-15. Like I think if ASD is a Brood player, like what do you do? Right.
Blitz, do you think it's
Puck
that
can't do
dramatic?
anything.
No, I think it's actually probably closer to like maybe 65-35, 60-40.
Okay.
I think Cole's lineup is still winnable.
This is very on brand for both of you. Nice and calm, extremely dramatic, but you know what else is going to be very on brand? Our stats. They're going to be absolutely fantastic because SAP only provides the best stats. They're going to be our analytical partner throughout the entirety of this tournament. I'm ready to jump into this one. Guys, keep in your mind as we jump into this first game, this one is an elimination series. Let's see who's able to take game number 1.
That's right, as Rich said, lives on the line here at StarLadder. Last minor of the season, last opportunity to get yourself into the major. Cannot afford to go out here in this elimination match. Complexity versus Team Sirius. I feel like these are the two teams that we probably expected to see in the lower bracket, but both of them put up really good fights against their opponents. Complexity almost winning against Meneski. Sirius had that very strong game against Nip. Tsunami, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
I have been very, very fearful of ASD's competency in the mid lane, and I think that overall, a Brood Mother player is a force to be reckoned with. And since people don't know very much about Sirius, I don't know if you're ready for, I mean, like, based off the picks, I'm not thrilled about your Brood Mother answers, but you can kind of fumble your way through it.
Yeah, Complexity certainly has a lineup that, I mean, Complexity's whole lineup is definitely aggressive, right? It's built for a strong laning phase and built for a good 20-25 minute timing. Doesn't have like a real hard carry on the lineup at all. I mean, when your hardest carries are what, Wraith King, Doom, Puck, they all kind of enter into that mid-game territory.
Right, and I see the most success with Wraith King whenever he's allowed to build like semi-utility and enable some other mid lane core who's a harder carry than him.
Yeah.
So if he's able to get like these radiances and just be irritating in fights, I see that being more successful than going for like Desolator Bashers, which is what this Wraith King may need to work his way up towards, because if he has to man fight versus a Sven and a Brood Mother, he's got his work cut out for him.
But again, we know Miracle likes to be able to farm quite a bit, and we did see, for example, Ambergesa, the way they built the Wraith King, it was very farmy and with the Midas straight into the Radiance build. So maybe they'll try and give that Wraith King like a lot of space in the first 20 minutes so he doesn't tailor off quite as much late game. Wraith Kings have impressed me with how much they're able to do late game compared to previous iterations, I would say.
At least when they're allowed to hit one thing. If they're allowed to hit one tower, one Roshan, one hero, and your skeletons are all cooperating, it's great. But whenever you have to deal with a Brood Mother and you have to deal with a lot of units, the equation gets a little bit more complicated.
So we're going to go aggro here to try and leave Tavo a safe lane positioning here, just because I think they feel like they can't beat an aggro tri-lane, and they want the Wraith King to have a better lane. Nice pickup from Z-Freak.
Yeah, and I also think that neither of the mid lanes really need that much help. Like, a Puck can handle the mid, especially a Puck as capable as Limp, should be able to handle it. So I think it's perfectly fine by Sirius to take this approach.
Yeah. So that means, I mean, Sirius at that point, they just, I think you just respond. Maybe the Lina sticks it out for a little bit and just tries to pressure Tavo, but eventually I think you just leave a 1v1 and you go tri-lane into the Wraith King with a Sven instead of a Sand King.
Yeah, I've been seeing so many different Sand King builds, and I know in the previous game with 33 he went for like a Yules. We oftentimes see like Vanguards, Pipes, and it's not that important to rush your way to a Blink. And so putting in July in a 1v1 situation versus Tabo, I would be fine with. It's just that given this Lina support, you'd think you'd want to take advantage of the stun synergy you have with the Sven and the Grimstark. You know, start out with the Stormhammer, let him rush in with the Inkswell, and then follow it up with an LSA.
I feel really strongly about that once Doom gets to level 3. If he gets the second level of Devour and he has that high regen rate, I'm just not convinced they're not gonna do enough damage, right? But maybe they just like the experience aspect. Maybe they don't want to like split the experience 3 ways. They feel like Sylar is just kind of farming away right now. He is doing fine for himself.
And to an extent, it's keeping the Rubik busy also. Rubik's down in the bot lane as well, making sure that Lina can't just pull jungle camps or cut off the wave. So they're duking it out on their own right.
I just feel like both these 4 positions, well, I guess Firefly is more of a 5, but both of these supports don't really have the clear home. Zfreak trying to take the regen rune after the hit, kind of fails, and picks it up right before he gets hit by the projectile. Regen's pretty much nothing.
I'm also curious what this Broodmother is going to build, because I have not seen too much 7.22C Broodmother. I think the Aghanim Scepter is strong. I just kind of don't know when to build it, much like Ember Spirit's Aghanim Scepter. They're kind of the same purpose, that you're very, very mobile around the map.
Tavo trying to dodge the LSA by going back into the team, but doesn't actually manage it, and it looks like he may not be able to get away. Firefly, ooh, okay, a little bit of awkward positioning. He definitely could have been in position for a second LSA and maybe the kill. But Tavo will manage to get out, thanks in part to his 1-1-1 build, where he went for the Scorched Earth, that movement speed helping him to get out.
Yeah, both Lina and the Sand King kind of went for the tree juke approach as opposed to the easy, just walk your way back into the lane approach.
Yeah.
Sometimes you mind game yourself. That's like Leshrac Split Earths. Like sometimes the most obvious ones are the ones that will work out in professional games because you're like, surely he's gonna like stutter step a little bit back and then I'll catch him, and then you just whiff it.
You know, whenever you know that thing, it's just something about it where you lose the confidence. Whenever you see somebody recast something like LSA or Split Earth more than 2 times, you just know they're probably going to miss. You know? They're getting flustered, you know? They're like, the fact that they have to recast it like 2 times, you know, they're just like, they're gone. Oh, managed to get a really good burst strike getting in front of Zfreak here, but Zfreak does not get hit by the follow-up stun from the Lina. And so far, this lane put a little pressure on Tavo, but well, he is actually 8-0, so he's definitely behind in CS compared to the 14-8 of the Sand King right now. In fact, Sirius as a whole is doing very well for themselves in the Complexity is doing very well for themselves. Top of the board at 38-7 for the Puck and 22-2 for the Wraith King.
Yeah, his Broodmother's not doing nearly as well as I was expecting, as In July gets
First strike through, they turn on to Zfreak instead. Now In July is probably going to die here. They want the kill first on Zfreak, but Zfreak is the one to claim the first blood. Tavo's going to take a lot of damage on his way out, but Tavo actually turned around and hit the Infernal Blade. The creeps kind of block him a little bit. Firefly had another LSA, could have gone for a blind, but decides against it.
Hit level 3 for the Dragon Slave as well, but he's playing it safe. Dude, maybe he is scared. Maybe he's feeling it.
Maybe. Or maybe, I'll give you another idea. Okay. Maybe he was actually okay with just leaving Tavo low, because he knew he didn't have any regen, right?
Okay.
Zfreak brings in a healing salve, that'll help. Top lane, we do have the Inkswell on to 3-4-3. He will be able to get out of range of that big stun, and Limp's going to be able to come rescue the day. Ming is going to die. It looks like Sylar will get back to the tower safely, but Complexity securing those bounty runes while they're trying to do the same at bottom lane, but Zfreak will die for it, it looks like, as he's hit by the Caustic Finale and the Dragon Slave runs him over.
This laning setup, this 2-1-2 setup seems extremely intentional. They do not seem interested in trying to bully one lane extremely hard. They're trying to distribute the love. The problem is that I think that mid lane needs to get some love from Sirius, because Broodmother is not going to be able to stay ahead of a Puck. A Puck is going, especially with maxed out Illusory Orb and Waning Rift, these Spiralings are not going to survive. And so anytime Broodmother starts pushing his tower, it's great to only have one hero on Brood duty. And Rubik is great at it, just with Fade Bolt. And a Puck that's this high level, probably early Blink Dagger, BOTs, I wouldn't be surprised because we saw in the NIP series.
On him down, Miracle. Tries to turn around and go for the stun, but the Inkswell still managed to hit him. Sylar's going to cut through the trees. Miracle spotted by great stroke coming out, and looks like Miracle will die here inside of those trees. Good rotation from Firefly.
Unfortunately, unlike whenever you do have a Wraith King and you can turn that into a push, I don't think Lina's going to be able to do much more in this top lane.
Yeah. All he can do is shut down the Wraith King once, secure the lane a little bit more for Sylar, and head back into it. But yeah, I almost think Limp kind of like maybe overplayed his lane a little bit. The way he was winning so early on, he just read that he just was constantly attacking ASD, just right-clicking him over and over and over again.
Yeah, which is one of the best approaches, because once the Brute gets more points in webs, you're not going to out-regen her, and plus the Soul Ring early on as well. And so, you know, it's like back when like double waving used to be very, very important in the mid lane. You just want to get in as much early harass as possible.
Grimshow cutting over. They're going to be able to slow down Z-Freak, get the spiders on top. All the spiders die, though, with the Fade Bolt, as well as that orb coming out from Limp. Managed to get a 3-man coil now. ASD doesn't want to break it. He's afraid of that damage. We'll just play in this cliff area. They're going to turn and hit the LSA onto the Warlock. The Fatal Bonzo on ASD. That's enough to finish him off, and Firefly's going to be run down as well. And Sirius, their Grimstroke at least, will be able to get out a little amount of HP, but that's twice now, back-to-back games that we've seen somebody overextend, trying to kill a support near a puck, and the puck punishes you so hard with the Dream Coil when you try and retreat.
Yeah, and those Fatal Bonds follow-up. He didn't even need anyone to snap it. He just needed to buy enough time for Warlock's TP to come in. And this is all pre-level 6. Warlock did not have the Golem. Rubik did not have Spell Steal. All you needed was the Dream Coil to set up all these turnarounds. And I don't think a Broodmother needs to play that aggressively, like with other heroes. She's allowed to dive by herself. Whenever you bring your other heroes into harm, this is what happens.
Push out here. Bottom lane. Tavo is now level 6. Did go for the maxed out Scorched Earth build, which is one of those kind of killer builds where the damage over time in an AoE, 50 damage, level 7. I think what was the first time we saw this? It was a couple tournaments ago. I think it was somebody like Old 11 was playing, and I was just like, this new build is insane.
That's when Scorched Earth used to give the regen too, though, I thought.
No, this was this Scorched Earth build, because everybody had been going for higher levels of Devour before that, because everyone was like, oh, it's your regen and your farming tool, and then I think it was Old 11 showed up and it was just like, hey, I'm gonna max out Scorched Earth and I'm just gonna run at you guys. And everybody's like, wow, 50 damage a second is actually pretty insane.
And he's been keeping this Frost right click as well, so he's all in on being able to chase people down, as we might see on Angela.
Drop the sentry, immediately kill it. The Sand King does well to respond to that.
Got that Quelling Blade.
That's always the battle of the sentries there. Good catch there on Sylar, who was farming up the jungle. Thought that he needed to abandon his lane and play into jungle, but instead that's exactly where he gets caught.
Complexity are one step ahead. There is so much Radiant vision in that northern jungle. There are 4 Observer Wards of Radiant dedicated to that top half of the map. So they know where Sven's going to be most of the time. And they know that this Lina and Sand King have been busy, so anything in the eastern jungle is probably not stacked up for this Sven yet.
Broodmother is going to go Hannah Midas first. So really committing to the farm.
Okay.
But ASD is yet to be able to really touch that mid-tier 1 tower. This is what Broodmothers usually on Dire side want to be able to do, is they want to push into that tower, take over this medium camp on the right-hand side here, and just continue to cut waves, hit the tower. And he's doing that right now while Limp is gone. Limp is finally going to show up, burst down all the spiders that was there, but just that small window did over 1,100 damage to the tier 1.
Right. You need to have someone on Brood duty, and Wraith King was just standing there like, Limp, can you come back, please? I can't deal with these spiders.
Remember Wraith King? Old single target Wraith King? Can't do much against Broodmother. Somebody, please.
And it looks like he may be working his way to a Midas of his own, as now Bounty Rune's 2 for 2. Or, no, well, yeah, it's going to be 2 for 2.
Managed to scare him away. ASD popping his ultimate just to farm up this ancient stack that he's got going on. All around, just despite like both sides have a very, I think that both sides have a relatively fast lineup and very heavy mid game. But we're not actually seeing a whole lot of attempts at kills right now. Everyone's just kind of split up okay with the farm that they're getting. It's mostly just Limp who's been the one moving around the most.
Which is why I wasn't thrilled with this Broodmother going for the Midas build, because she's the one who can create the easiest pressure. This is what a lot of people don't like whenever you pair like Sven and TA, is because both heroes want to farm the jungle constantly. And the thing with Broodmother is she doesn't have to farm the jungle. She can farm the enemy jungle, like you said, take over that medium camp. She can create pressure on the map elsewhere. But right now she's just kind of hijacking the eastern camp. Sven doesn't really know where to go, and now Limp's looping around.
Spotted, gets the Veil onto him, doesn't do any damage to the spiders. Running over Tavo, they They do manage to get the Burrow Strike, and they do latch him in with the Golem. 3-4-3 is going to die in the back lines as Firefly comes in. Tavo was attached to that Golem for so long, but now he's going to turn around and actually Doom up and try and kill the Lina before they're down. Puck managed to run down the Grimstroke. Doom still ticking down on Firefly. Tavo falls, but it looks like Firefly needs to deny, trying to run to Injali, but Injali couldn't get there in time. In the end, Complexity do manage to kill that tower. It's Miracle gets it. Meanwhile, top lane, the Dream Coil finally being used to kill Sylar here, who thought he had free reign to just go and push this tier 1 while the fight was happening mid, but fast rotations from Limp.
And if you don't see the Dream Coil pops, you don't feel safe going for that movement.
Yeah.
I initially thought that was going to be very, very Sirius favored. Even though their tower went down, it was just to support Lina, but Sylar going down. Sylar has had some questionable positioning this entire tournament. I have not been thrilled. I remember he had a Death Prophet game earlier where he was just,
God.
Yeah, that one.
He did have to play side lane Death Prophet, which is
True. True. But, you know, they drafted it. I didn't tell them to play
yeah,
it.
sure,
This
that's
was
true.
not
And
reverse mode.
most carries do have an opportunity to, like, have a voice in what hero you get to pick, you know?
Yeah, I do think that Sven's going to be instrumental in winning, though, because, like I said, the Broodmother has answers. Between the Puck and the Rubik, she's not going to be able to pressure towers, just uncontested. And as the game progresses, Dream Coil is amazing against Broodmother.
All right, I'm going to throw a wild idea there.
Okay.
This is an idea that I've seen. I've actually seen it in this matchup.
Okay.
What would you think if Broodmother...
Wait, did you see it in North America?
What would you think if...
Let's hear it, let's hear it.
All right, pipe first Broodmother.
Oh, no, I'm a big fan of that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have like a specifically like against a hero like Puck or Lina that has the 1-2 punch of insta-killing the spiders.
I think 33 used to build it quite a bit, and it kind of got dethroned whenever Dominator became the go-to build. But now that you can't get siege creeps anymore, I'd be perfectly okay with Pipe making a resurgence, because even beyond the barrier, the regen is amazing. If you just tank one spell, if you're in your web and your spiders are around you for the Pipe aura, you get so much HP back on them.
But this build from ASD is quite the opposite
no,
of that. It's very offensive. Midas, Yasha into Diffuser Blade, all in on the right clicks.
Which eventually, I imagine, he'll start right-clicking some heroes. It doesn't seem like it's on the agenda yet.
Yeah, right now he's using all that damage and attack speed to kill neutrals.
Poor Sven, man.
Yeah, Sven's left with without much of a home.
Look at him. He's like, let me help out a little bit.
He's like, one hit, one creep for my Echo Saber. Let me have this at least.
And they finally sentry warded and removed all the observers from the northern jungle. Because now there might be a slight movement in the top lane.
Meanwhile, Wraith King, he's had a better game. He's 1,000 net worth up over the Sven because in part of his hand of Midas, also just more space to let his Mortal Strike go to work. Right now, his Skeletons, they pushed in mid lane and took it for him. Now he's trying to do something similar at top, but this is what Sand King is best at. Being able to play very defensively. They have to really commit to be able to kill. Unfortunately, they got the coil, so he's not able to burst strike so easily. The Golem's going to follow that up to make sure Injali does die inside that coil, and any heroes that TP'd in are going to get caught as well, and that's going to be our Grimstroke. Run down by the Wraith King. They're going to be able to steal the Inkswell, just the added little cherry on top for the next fight.
Complexity did not care who showed up. They were going to use everything. If it was the Sand King, or if the Grimstroke showed up, or if all 5 Sirius heroes showed up. They wanted to use the Golem. They wanted to take a tower. And they do just that, get 2 kills on top of it.
Limp was already moving around the map so fast, making plays happen. In the first 10 minutes, now at 15, he's got a Blink Dagger after that Veil of Discord. And I bet he's looking for that Boots of Travel sometime soon.
This is one of the most irritating things as a Broodmother player now, because like you should have done better mid, you should have maybe taken the tier 1 tower mid, and you should have taken control of the enemy jungle, but now the enemy mid laner has...
Oh, nice deny bottom lane, Limp. Takes that gold away from the Lina.
Narrow.
They may not even be able to get mid towers. It's glyphed up and there's going to be Fade Bolts. There goes all that damage. This could be a second denied tower.
Well, apparently ASD doesn't care. He's just going to chill in the jungle all day.
The fact that he hasn't taken that mid tower,
It's
but
baffling.
Limp has moved out of lane.
I know.
He was up there at top, took that, was there at bottom as well.
Now he's back for some more spider farm. Has the Veil as well. Hell, they can go for this with the Dream Coil, but Seems that the rest of Sirius are missing off the map right now, and they don't want to make anything too aggressive.
Yeah, and it does look like Sirius wants to make an aggressive maneuver as they smoke up. They had some aggressive vision. There's that high ground ward next to the tier 2 at top, so they had probably vision of some heroes moving around, but not necessarily the smoke itself. They are going to claim that tower. No hero last hit, so, but at least it's better than to deny.
The thing is that all the Sirius heroes are here now, and unless they want to turn this into a tier 2 push bot, they're kind of wasting their time. But it looks like they may be able to get some aggressive vision in the Radiant jungle. But they're not going to find any heroes. The rest of Complexity have just moved to the western jungle.
Here's a big power spike now. The level 10 talent for Doom, with already the maxed out Scorched Earth build, now at 70 damage per second.
Dude, my man is still on the Frost Strike click.
He really is. He's all about it, apparently.
Huh. Okay. I mean, I thought if you're going to like stick around with something, you go for like the Kobold Aura. He's cruising around.
Yeah, I would take
Almost anything.
yeah.
The Harpy Mana Steal.
Whoa. Let's not go crazy here, Tsunami. All right, Sirius, they're not going to try and defend their tier 2. Instead, they're just going to work the opposite side of the map. StarLadder has already popped his God Strength.
Dude, what is ASD's grand plan? He's not even helping his team push bot. He's just chilling.
He's not even like trying to cut waves mid.
I know.
He's just letting them push in top and mid lane, maybe because he's scared.
He's scared of his own Rubik spiders.
He's like, dude, these spiders freak me out, man. They look like mine, but they're not really mine.
This is kind of usually what I see Complexity be guilty of, is that they kind of just give away towers for free. But Sirius, they're motioning in the direction, but Sven's not anywhere. Okay, Sven just TP'd to the top
that's 70
lane.
damage per second. Okay, they're going to commit. They actually want to they'll feed away the Spiderlings as long as they can actually kill the Doom. Tavo slowly dying, and he will end up falling. The Golem is not enough to save him. Limp in the back lines is almost dead. They managed to get a Dragon Slave on him. A 3-man
Nice.
LSA. A great setup from Firefly. And it looks like in July, well, he'll tick out eventually here as the Shadow Word will be enough. But still, a massive fight for Sirius as they're going to be able to kill the Wraith King on his second life as well. That's going to be 4 dead, and honestly, it could have been 5. The puck was so low in the back lines.
Redemption for Firefly. What an amazing LSA. Otherwise, that fight could have gone a little bit worse. Those Fatal Bonds, like any little bit of damage that you can manage to get out is instrumental. So managing to shut down 3 heroes with 1 spell, I think just secured that. And despite the Golem being used, I think Sirius just initiated it a little bit too fast. 3-4-3 was pretty quick on the draw, but Doom died too quickly. And couldn't Frost Right click anyone. What was that all about?
He did, that was the first reveal of the Blink Dagger, right?
It was,
from the
yes.
Sand King.
Yeah.
So maybe they caught Complexity a little unaware.
And Tavo may be able to return the favor as he's very, very close to a Blink Dagger of his own.
Yeah. I like the fact that they identified Tavo as probably being the most important hero. If they could catch the puck, that'd be great. But before the Wraith King has Radiance, right, that most of the damage in those team fights is either going to come from the Scorched Earth of Doom or it's going to come from the puck. Right. So just hard committing for that hero was nice. Next fight, though, we're probably going to have a Radiance for the Wraith King, as he's only 800 gold away from it right now, so.
And for what it's worth, I don't really think like Sven or Broodmother are that depressed about getting doomed. And usually Doom's great in these blink initiation situations when you can catch out like either a critical support that can initiate, like a Tidehunter or something, or a carry that needs to activate spells to be useful. So if you can find Sven before like God Strength, it's great, but chances are pretty slim.
We were talking about, I really did not like the Doom pickup choice. And you were saying it might have been because they thought it was a 2-position, Lena.
Right, and they wanted to take away the double Doom potential. But on Complexity side, yeah, I definitely see that it was very strong in the lane, and obviously the damage is something to be feared, especially with the max Scorched Earth build. But in terms of his ultimate, which is usually his signature ability to be brought into a game, it's not that impactful.
SNY build for Sylar, so he's just going to go for the that reduction. And after that one team fight, Sirius has just been kind of
crunching through towers.
Yeah, running at Complexity side of the map, banging creeps, hitting towers.
ASD's farming neutrals.
And Complexity are going, well, Radiance, it's still not here, so we still can't fight.
And I guess they don't really feel like taking advantage of the Blink Dagger. I don't think they've shown it yet. I don't think Tavo's walked into any vision, but they just gave away 2 tier 2 towers for free. Yeah. Like a Radiance is important, sure, but...
And are they even going to get this bottom tier 1?
Don't think
Sirius
so.
could defend, for sure. They may not want to. They may want to stick on this side of the map. I mean,
Maybe take Roche.
it could be a Roche time. Sneaky little play. They've got it. They have no minus armor, but they have a lot of physical damage.
Yeah, and spiders to tank it. So even though it may take a while, you will be able to take a fight if Complexity get wind of this.
They're going to be spotted by the orb.
Does orbit out.
But Roshan, they just keep on going for it. The most of Complexity were showing themselves in mid. They're now going to smoke up, running to the Roshan pit, but it looks like they may just be a little bit too slow. The Bro Strike actually stopping the Prog from being able to jump inside the pit. Good play from In July. And now they can run at the other side. They're going to be able to maybe catch the puck. They tried to get him with the Inkswell. He's able to jump away to his orb, spot him for a moment, though, and he's stuck inside the trees while ASD runs down the rest of the team. They do manage to get the Burrow Strike. LSA follow-up, Laguna Blade, but a phase shift blinks up right now. Will be able to blink to the right. Orb Ober, they know where he's going. The Stroke of Fate's not going to land. And he will have the space to, TP out.
I mean, that's great that he survives, but I don't know why Complexity decided to smoke from their tier 3 mid. I don't know if their TPs were down that they couldn't just get to the shrine, but you had enough time to make a play. Most of their TPs were down, and that was their fastest way to the pit. But they give away an Aegis, and they don't get any exit kills. In fact, they give up their Warlock.
Oh, use the glyph to be able to TP in the puck to get this pick off. They just wanted to make sure they had the extra damage, the extra hold to kill the Sven for sure. That is one of their nicer combos. They had the guaranteed catch with what is supposed to be kind of a team fight winner in the Doom. But outside the pit, they are going to be able to find Z-Freak.
I mean, it's a team fight winner, but you just got a pick off, and now the rest of the team is coming. You have Golem available, but Dreamcoil and Doom are both down.
Let's see if Sirius are going to poke at the high ground at all with those spiders, or if they're going to back up once.
I mean, Rubik's dead for 30, and you've got an Aegis.
Yeah, this puck, he's trying to run over the Wraith King. Same thing. He does have a TP on the Wraith King, but they're going to try and come in from behind here. They may not have the Dream Coil to hold these heroes in place. They are going to try and commit with a Burrow Strike into 3-4-3 to make sure they don't get off the Golem, and they won't be able to. He dies. Tavo with the two-man stun, but he's so slowed down that the Brood Mother is going to catch up to him, get him with the Spawn Spiderlings to finish him off, and he still has that Aegis too, and he's going to heal up to full. While Miracle, he's still hitting neutrals.
Yeah, he'll do that.
He's had a TP for the last 40 seconds.
But does he have a Radiance?
He does have his Radiance, but he really does not want to fight into this Brood Mother. It's a Diffusal Manta Brood Mother that can burn through all of his mana. He really needs his level 20 talent before they commit too much. They do manage to get an opposing Soul Bind. Unfortunately, there's no Doom, but they do manage to get the double Fateful. That'll finish off the Grim Stroke, second life of the Brood Mother. Brood Mother doesn't have a Manta, doesn't have a BKB, so can't so easily get away if they actually get any stuns out, but only the Golem stun. The Epicenter initiation onto Z-Freak once again. This Rubik just dies. He's in July, keeps on targeting him time and time again. A two-man LSA. Now Miracle. He doesn't get burned out of his mana, so he will be the reincarnation here. The puck might be able to get away. Short little hop over into his tier 3 tower. He'll be okay. Telekinesis actually buying some space. Or Tavo, the Laguna Blade. It wasn't enough. And Miracle, with no reincarnation, has to play very careful. That was so close to Sirius getting so many kills there.
Yeah, Sylar had actually taken a longer route back to the fight, otherwise that may have gone even worse for Complexity, but he was kind of looping around. As soon as he entered the fight, I think Complexity realized that they needed to exit, and poor Rubik, man, he is tanking all of these epicenters in the face, not being able to do anything, and this is a great Rubik game. You have so many stuns to steal, namely the one that would be the one that Firefly's showing off on. So many multi-hero LSAs. Again, instrumental in winning these fights.
Look how important the experience is to Miracle right now because of this Manta Diffusal Blade from the Brood Mother. He picked up both tomes at 20, and he's going to pop both of them. He's like, my supports don't get this. I'm going to be using Hannah Midas, I'm going to be using my tomes, anything to get to the level 20 talent where I have the no reincarnation mana cost.
Dude, that was the theory whenever the double tome thing came out. They were like, oh man, maybe Invoker becomes good again because he'll just eat both the tomes, but no, not yet. Instead, it's going to be Wraith King. And Broodmother now, with her Aghanim Scepter completed, has full control of the map. And we are seeing Complexity already struggle with trying to move from objective to objective.
You know, I thought he had BKB queued up, and I thought ASD was going to go for it. And if you did commit to the BKB, I think you get mid lane of Barracks guaranteed. It'd be very heavy committal into this timing window, but I think they're strong enough to just go for it.
I think it's more Sven's responsibility. If you want someone to just face tank, then Sven, even though he is a while away from his BKB, if you already went for the status resistance of the Sanjin Yasha, then might as well just let him be the face tank and go for the Aghanim Scepter instead. Because you see Complexity are very, very dependent on a 5-man. You want to get this Fatal Bonds, Dream Coil, Golem combination. If Broodmother's off poking around, then who are you going to send? Like at best, you have to lose the Rubik, who can only just Fade Bolt away the spiders.
Sylar pushing out this top lane, and all of Complexity playing around the trees decides that this is not the pick-off they want to go for. Yeah, maybe they're right, because Grimstroke and Angelai's Sand King were sitting behind him.
They just want to protect this Sven, make him work his way up to that BKB.
So instead, Z-Freak will just cut waves, Fate Bolt, Stormhammer, put the smoke up from Sirius. They're going to move on through. Catching up to the Broodmother at mid.
Still haven't taken any of the shrines yet, but they just want to maybe ambush something as these Brood Spiders are scouting out, doing a little figure 8.
Yeah, they can start doing some damage to the rain tracks if they want. There's the slow burn of the Radiance, but Tavo quickly killing the ward that was placed out. They don't want to give Sirius the opportunity to find an initiation.
They just want to hem Complexity on their side of the map. Don't want to give them an opportunity to farm their jungle as now Limp tries to make an escape.
He gets out of the pit and will go for the fast kill onto the Grimstroke. Almost enough to be able to burst him down. They just need Miracle to join him, but they managed to get, oh no, the Doom got close to Limp, and now Limp is stuck in the Soulbind, so all that mobility goes away. They will be able to kill Tavo as well. Looks like they got 3-4-3 in the back line, and Sirius taking down 3. Only a buyback on the puck available means they can go for the high ground push potentially. As Sylar chases away the Wraith King. They don't even really need to do anything with this Wraith King.
Keep him busy.
Just keep him busy. Just don't let him TP.
Look at him run.
You can go for the kill eventually.
Don't worry, your mid-rax is being taken.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at this point... Oh, wait, did they not save a stun? Okay. Well, they didn't save a stun.
Well, that happens.
Well, they delayed long enough to be able to get the melee barracks at least, and maybe there's still the tier 3 bottom.
Yeah, you got time on God Strength. They're cutting through this tower. The only justification I can have for Tavo jumping in like that is because he tried to beat the Soulbind and maybe doom the Grimstroke, which initially they were like, okay, we can kill this Grimstroke in the initial burst. And then he's kind of surviving. He's like, he might Soulbind. I'll jump in. Unfortunately, that was the worst case scenario as he gets soulbound.
Oh, Upheaval with the telekinesis toss back. They are now getting the full slow. That's why the Broodmother's just going to turn and fight Miracle. Miracle, it's a burned out of mana. He doesn't get off the magic stick charges. So he doesn't have the reincarnation. Now he's going to be forced to buy back. ASD is slowed down to a total crawl, but finally the Upheaval, it runs out and everybody will get away.
Insatiable hunger. She doesn't even need the BKB if there are not very many disables for her. She just, I mean, she'll just sit in the Dream Coil. Unless if Rubik manages to steal one of the Burrow Strike, the LSA, the Stormhammer, or even the Inkswell, then Broodmother is really not afraid of anything. She's going to be working her way to a heart, actually.
Yeah, just fully statting up. And this Aghanim Scepter, not just stats, but then also just being able to control so much of the map with all these webs everywhere. What level is our Wraith King? Still only level 18. 30-minute tomes are coming up.
Oh wait, I never get to do this. JJ, hit me up with a Broodmother heat map. I want to see this Aghanim Scepter potential. I want to see how warm the map is.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And this Fateful just pinballs around. Yeah, like Complexity is just like paralyzed right now. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's actually not as...
Played a lot in that triangle and just back and forth into mid. And then what I liked about it is we were kind of clowning on ASD a little bit of like, yo, you're not defending mid, you're not like cutting the creep wave, but he did understand like we're gonna reach a very good timing, and Complexity's not gonna be strong enough to fight us. They can only really beat us in 20 minutes. We do outscale them just slightly.
Especially if this Wraith King is so far behind. He's 4K net worth behind the Sven.
And how is he that far behind when he went for the Midas Radiance build in the first place? He went for the full farm build, which is kind of what we expected from Miracle.
One could contend that hero kills may be worth more than neutral kills.
That's probably true. After all, our Sven has been a part of how many? Not many, actually. 0, 3, and 5, but Cleave just letting him take all the towers and farm up much of the enemy jungle, and he's gonna blink right into the Broodmother who got behind him. His mana's being burned away, but his HP's being burned away faster. If he actually dies like this, it'd be fantastic. A nice stomp goes out. The Golem to follow it up. They do manage to get the Wraith King in his second life here, but he's just gonna die so quickly as Sylar just rips him apart. 3-shotting the Warlock towards the end. Triple kill, Complexity call it here. Sirius just totally outplaying Complexity at this point. I mean, they just turned it on at one point. They just kind of dodged a lot of Complexity's moves.
It didn't even feel like that much like a Broodmother game. It felt more like just a mid laner who was given free farm and taking over the entire game, much as how like a Drow Ranger would or something like that. So I can't even say that it was like a real fault of the draft. I think it's just Complexity were just buying too much time for a Wraith King who could never really fight.
Yeah, sadly, I'm just like checking out the net worth at like 15 minutes. We had Wraith King up 6,000 net worth, and the Sylar Sven only at 5K. Then they won like one team fight, and then they took like every objective in the world.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like everybody's net worth just shoots upwards. Mostly led by this Broodmother who, again, read the timing very well. He's like, I'm going to get Diffusal, I'm going to get Manta, and then the Wraith King, their strongest hero who's gone into very heavily into this Radiance build, he does nothing. We're just going to burn him out. He can't actually fight. You saw Miracle did not want to fight. He's farming neutrals while he was losing mid barracks.
And this is also one of the least effective games I've seen from Tavo. I think Tavo's been a real mainstay, at least throughout yesterday in this tournament. He was kind of keeping Complexity in the game often, but this was not his game.
Yeah, rough game all around for Complexity. A team who did push Mineski to a Game 3, maybe even should have won that series in that that critical Game 3, but didn't come to fruition. And they could just get 2-0'd out of the tournament by Team Sirius, given this kind of performance. Is there anything you want to run it back drafting-wise that you didn't quite feel for Complexity?
I wasn't thrilled with the last pick Doom. I think give Tavo, I mean, if Sand King's banned out or something like that, just give Tavo something he's comfortable on. You don't need to save him for the last pick. Let's save Limp for the last pick.
All right, Complexity got some things to work through. Fortunately, there's going to be break before we head to Game 2.
Observing is something where I felt like I would actually push the whole craft forwards. I could give people something that they would enjoy.